Oh, interesting. Okay, it stopped, and we got a new video going now. Hi there, everybody. There was another video of setting up this video. This keeps happening on its own. I just keep letting it. Alright. Oh, that's the link, of course. Alright. Let's see what we got going on here. Well, it's pretty okay. I don't know. Alright, we'll try again. Let's see, maybe we move it just a little bit further in there. Looks like that's gonna screw our battery cord. Alright. I don't know. Just not a great angle of view. Don't know if I'm gonna be able to capture these types of shots. There must be a way. We're in a small space. Oh, movie diagnostics here. Hi, how's it going? I myself think I'm looking great and gorgeous today. Yep, thanks for letting me know. I'm sure you all do too in your own perfect, unique manners. Anyway. I don't know. I just come completely blank now. I mean, there's definitely different things about posturing, different things about moving energy in different manners. There's been a lot of different teachings to come forth and come through and come up. I figured maybe we'd talk with Ray as well and move through an energy expression that was coming on. I figured that was probably going to be pretty potent. There was a lot of different things to say about that specifically. If it came about, on its own spontaneously. As I was sitting here in front of the mirror thinking about different energy flow posturings and things like that, I was thinking about how I could maybe describe those things. And so as I was sitting there describing those things to myself, I was like, well, shoot. Perhaps I should set up the camera and begin shooting and start describing some of those things. That would be really maybe pretty good. And so here we are. Video 2. First one, like, very short, 30-minute, 1-minute video. Who knows? 2 minutes. Kind of like this one so far. I didn't quite go as planned, but, that's kind of how the world is. Reminds me of what this guy actually said at the bus station today. He's like, you just can't go by any plans, really. I mean, I guess you can plan, but for him, it's better to live in the moment, he said. It's just right here, right now. And that's really beautiful. I actually said right here, right now. He said other things about just simply being the moment. Living for the present moment, for the day. Right here, no plans anyway. It's really beautiful, really gorgeous. Moving through some super intense type frequencies, energy expressions. And it brings me to feel all kinds of different agitations, which brings me to all types of forms of expression. I hurt my knee a little bit earlier. I talk about that a lot recently. A lot of the hurting of the limbs and the body, the knees and the ankles. All pretty much due to me not being constantly in my flow. In a certain sense, it would maybe seem. And then there's all this crazy, perfect unfolding happening. It's like there's really just no way for me to stop these possible occurrences. They just happen, and we guess we can just say it's karma. And because of my wonderful specificity and articulation of karma, or the way in which I experience karma extremely directly, and I've understood the entirety of everything in such a way that, to me, karma is a really perfect play unfolding for our highest benefit, not only just for the entire collective, but for us individually as well. And so it's moving me deeper into realms of trust and understanding, having all kinds of different things rise up that agitated me greatly previously, and even though there's still great occurrences of agitation from the level of sensitivity in which I happen to be perceiving from, or perceiving, um, it really is obvious to me that all of the chord shapes of all of life have created the situation in such a way that only the situation that happened was possible. Sure, there was plenty of options and seeming possibilities, but because of all of the external data and information happening, not only externally but also internally, there was only one path that was going to be taken, and that was the path of least resistance. And that is the path that everything will take in every piece of its journey. So, as I begin learning more and more about myself more and more deeply, I also learn a wonderful thing about everybody, mainly because we're all one being. So, as I learn about myself, I learn about all of self. I may not learn about every single ego identity specifically to the uniqueness of its qualities, but I definitely know the being in which is existing before me when the stories are not present within it, and even still while the stories are present within it, because it's quite clear and accurate, the information that's being presented. It's not lying, it's being quite authentic with itself, and so with discriminating awareness, we can learn how to harmonize with efficiency with other beings. We can learn how to be with them for the amount of time and duration which is most necessary for their benefit and their route to liberation, and also ours as well. Stop holding on and grasping on to other individuals, but also stop letting them go in such a way that won't let us be there fully accepting the most amazing gratitude for what is the present moment with any other individual at all ever. And that's also with ourselves. So when we come into ourselves, knowing ourselves fully, we'll know where we wish to be most, and that's when it becomes quite relaxing and effortless in a sense. But agitation, nervousness, all of these things are all going to continue singing a part in the song, in the story, until they dissipate of their own nature, meaning they've been exhausted of their possibility of occurring again. So as I move deeper and deeper, closer and closer into centering, I bounce back and forth between all of these different frequencies, agitations, triggers, whatever they happen to be, bouncing, 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 bouncing. Of course, every time now, instead of having a giant jump, I have a very small jump. And so this is very beautiful. This is something that reminds me of something that came to me perhaps in the shower at some other time, and it was really freaking beautiful. And it's talking about the cycles and the way in which we route ourselves through oscillation, through our perception, the way in which we're moving forward towards something, which also brings me into the energy flow. I was thinking about talking to you about how to move forward in one direction. We've been watching a lot of Tai Chi Quan, a lot of really amazing older elder masters. I'm all discriminating, like, I don't know, is this guy the real deal? What's going on? They have a beautiful, amazing subtlety to their being. And so that's one of the things that brought me into confidence about sharing the energy flow, as somebody could gain a ridiculous acceleration in their path and power due to the flow of energy and coming into it very quickly. But they will never be able to reach the place of mastery without the ability to harmonize with other beings, without the ability to move past themselves in a certain way, have a form of character, prestige, a subtleness, a lack of fight scenario within them. If they're aggressive, they're going to be able to be thrown off balance to some degree or fashion. Now, they may appear to be the most balanced person in the world externally, physically, but what's going on in the internal world? Do they move into a direction in a completely destructive manner just out of nowhere? Or do they still do it even if it's well calculated? What's going on with that? You know, there's a lot of things to see. But anyways. So, yeah, it's wonderful to bring up the energy flow, the energy movement, move into different posturings and stances, and kind of show different posturing and stances from this point in awareness where we're at right now. And right now, I mean, it's, you know, it's getting where it wants to go. We got to have a good physical flow going on, you know. And right now, my body is kind of more weak. I haven't been doing it every day. And this is a practice that needs to be done every day, you know. Well, I guess we don't need to do anything. That's the versatility of the practice, I guess. That's something I'm really going to have to bring in. I don't want to share my hyper-awareness, you know, my sensitivity to focus, you know, my ability to fixate in some manner. Okay, so what I wanted to do earlier is I was looking over here in the posture of the mirror. So you see, this is one of the postures. Okay, we're resting right now in this typical posturing. You know, not the greatest posture, not the worst posture. I mean, it's a posture. All postures are equal, absolutely. Now, as we bring in the breath, breathing deeply through the body, down deep into the dantian, and allowing the breath to move to any part of the body in which it wishes to, at any moment in which it wishes to. Just really giving it full rein and loosening, allowing the body to flow with it. Now, there's a way to very much go very, very quickly in any one direction, to go super duper fast and strong and powerful in a way that could be seen, and sometimes as an agitation, an anxiety, a fear, an emergency mindset, some kind of insecurity, some kind of a show-offiness, but also could just simply be what is extremely meant for that particular moment. And how we can do those kinds of extreme flows, hyperdimensional flows even, is through a ridiculous trust, confidence, and presence with ourselves. If we can be present, allowing the entire motion to do itself, bringing ourselves to places of full extension, we can really ride the energy in a really amazing, phenomenal fashion. But presence is necessary. Really, it's the most necessary. So I love the taking the energy up into the most powerful stances, because I do believe through the full extension of the body, as I have experienced that this is the case in consciousness, through the full extension of the body and also the chakra centers, from the root to the crown. That means we have to take this stuff here and this stuff here and marry them here in order for them to be able to see clearly within the mirror. So this is an extremely important thing. And it can be very easily expressed through just simply stretching the body. Now, once you become a great stretcher of the body, you may also want to be stretching your mind. If you stretch your mind before you stretch your body will have a greater fluidity and ease in flexing itself. It may actually immediately, the moment your mind becomes flexible, your body may become flexible. Because I mean, when I say the mind become flexible, I mean it releases its hold on your body, your life, your laws that you write your reality with, all of the stories in which it believes all of these things to be. It releases those things, releases its ability to hold things in form with its hyper sane focus, believing it knows something so deeply that it makes everything have to be that. That's pretty crazy. But anyways, so when the mind becomes flexible, meaning it believes truly, fully, like a crazy, insane knowing that the body is able to balance and flex and move in the most amazing manners possible, different than ever before, then maybe the body would be able to show you that possibility. I would love to show you that possibility. That would be really great. That would be really amazing. But just like every other master who lived to this day, can't show you that. It's too advanced. But I can tell you all about all kinds of stuff. It may be a little confusing. But if it is confusing, then I'd say just watch this video again, as I'm pretty clear with things. And also, please leave a comment if you like and ask any questions. I'll be sure to answer in the greatest amount of fullnesses and tell you very directly if there's anything I feel is going on with yourself personally that's stopping you from being able to understand what it is that's being transmitted here through this channel. And really, so it comes down to, again, with energy flow, a ridiculous amount of presence and confidence. Confidence not built through arrogance or just a flimsy, just conceptual belief, but confidence built through experience. You can do it for a long time. Actually, I mean, if you don't have any experience, I don't know how you would be doing it in the way in which I mean, mentioning the flows of the body and then the trust of the motion and the being precisely where you're meant to be, at any moment. And feeling how then the ocean of consciousness that is all this amazing moving color everywhere around us um, can reveal the way in which it moves with itself, the curvatures, the fashions, why loosening the body can really help us understand what's happening, So for me, sometimes I have points where I hold back or I go too fast forward. But luckily for me, I've reached places of full extension. So I have a place to stop. Now, full extension to some people conceptually may mean, just stretching like this, which is cool. You can stretch like that. That's totally awesome. It's a full extension. Sure, absolutely. It's a singular cycle. There are countless routes of motion. I mean, combinations of motion, keys to motion, algorithmic patterns that unlock different avenues of expression within us. One of the deepest ways to unlock this, obviously, is full realization, the releasement of the self, the acceptance of all the self, and then the bringing in of all those energies and the moving through all those energies. This comes through understanding, understanding unconditional love for all beings everywhere without one exception, being the master key to the universe, being the most clear statement to show what kind of energy is embodied by the heart of all that is, the bridge, the very center in all of us where enlightenment lives, the place that can see in all directions equally, and thus can realize everything for what it is equally, and realize thus non-duality through this. And so if we are to apply this type of love to literally every being entirely, every experience, every frequency, every feeling, every demonic or angelic, whatever we could possibly perceive, if we could give it this space of unconditional love that loves it just as it is, without any need for it to change. Now, this doesn't mean that you're in absolute agreement with it or any of these things, You could surrender to not knowing. You could also know that you're ignorant and that you lack some kind of understanding that could possibly bring you into a greater harmony. And then you could maybe even feel apologetic to the energy, to whatever it is that's perceived. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Please forgive me. I love you, unconditionally, forever and always, no matter what. Be amazing. Phenomenal, right? So, there are a lot of doorways, there are a lot of keys, there are a lot of motions. When I was young, I had this notion, I would say, I'm on a quest to know everything. And now, something very similar is occurring for me where or maybe not now, but something that happened 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I was on a quest to make all motions. I wanted to move in every way. I want to move in all the ways, that's what I would say. And that's because I knew that just moving one motion that I had never moved before opened up neural passageways within my consciousness that helped me receive and perceive reality greater than ever before. I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy, just one little motion. It's like, can you believe that people haven't moved their body in certain directions, that there's a 360-degree sphere of awareness around you, and there's endless routes of arm motion, and we probably only make like a few of them. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty amazing. And how simple would it be if just the movement of the body could unlock the frequency, polish the mirror of the mind, and free the self? That's freaking insane. And so we've been watching these amazing masters recently. We've been seeing them move different energies, getting before people, getting in front of people, making sure that the energy is always here, centered in front, forward. So now when a person is coming in, they can make an adjustment, but an amazing adjustment. The more force the person makes, quick, little, tiny adjustment, send the energy that way. A great deflection. Bounces it. Oh, that's the direction. Like if you're banking the 8-ball or something in pool or any ball, Amazing. Anyways. So I wanted to show posture. So this is where we're at right now. We're at this type of posture. I'm going to stretch out a little bit. figure we start breaking into different things that need to go down, in order to bring the energy up and through. Whoa! Stepping back, and then stepping out. So that was good. This was a little off balance. There's a little this, there's a little that, there's a little this, there's a little that. And for me, I like to watch these forms because people are making forms and people might want to learn from me some type of form. And I mean, you could attempt to learn the form. I mean, the form is kind of useless to you because it's formless. If you were to form my flow in some way, I mean, I guess it would just, I don't know. I mean, you'd say it's the flow of a thousand hands. Or it's the flow of one movement constantly occurring. In simplicity or in complication. Because it's going to do every combination possible. It's going to do flows that seem impossible. And it's not going to have a set distinction in flow, but it understands a ridiculous amount about flow. So when there's people that do have a set pattern, a rigidity, what I would call it from the place of fluidity in which I'm perceiving, and not to say that it's truly a rigidity, everybody's in perfection, we love them all, they're all so great. But I'm watching these things, and now masters, they're very amazing, very wonderful, very great flow artists, really understand the motion in a certain way. And I don't know if they really discuss very much what's going on in dynamic form with everybody if they're articulating these things to their students. I guess you don't want a competitor. You definitely don't want anybody that's going to come up and try to stand against you. You live by the sword to die by the sword. But for me personally, I believe that reverberation is an impossibility if I don't send a reverberation out specifically myself towards anything in a way of violence, attack, or defense. Only way reverberation can happen. So I actually feel quite safe and centered in sharing these kinds of informations, really. And also, for you to do my flow, you would have to do my flow the way in which I do my flow. Otherwise, you couldn't do my flow. And so that's a really beautiful thing as well. You would have to, not do it. You would have to not do it in order to do it. I'm extremely good at not doing. I'm so good at not doing. It looks like I'm doing stuff. That's how good I am at not doing. And I get into greater and greater places in confidence with that every day. Just coming in deeply, seeing where I've already been, seeing where we all already are. It's really amazing, phenomenal process. And I wish to share again the growth of that. Like, how is it going to be strong? How is it going to be right? How is it going to be this? How is it going to be that? What are we even going to do to bring through? Well, I wanted to share the entirety of the process with you. I'm actually sad, remiss in some way, that I wasn't able to show you even more of the process. The things that happened in the past, the things that I thought were unworthy of sharing, then nobody will like me, nobody will help me, nobody will, get behind the message and try to understand that I actually have wisdom to share. It was a very difficult thing coming through that process, I gotta tell you. But it was the only way to go. So difficult as a perceptual frequency of that. Really, it was the only possibility for me to move was the way in which I moved to bring me here right now where you see me. So, hard, only thing possible, exactly the same line I've always followed. It's very difficult to judge any part of the experience, to alter the experience as well because of the great perfection of it. It's like, yeah, I would like for less of that perhaps, but also that led me to this amazing perfection to be able to perceive that way. And I mean, if I need it again, then I guess I need it again. I guess I wouldn't want to reject anything that was for my highest benefit. It's a really amazing thing. This is when you're really starting to dig your teacher, even if you don't dig the teacher, Oh, it sucks. Okay, let's keep going. I mean, what else are you going to do? Are you going to fall down and die? Are you going to give up? Are you going to cry? What are you going to do? I mean, even if you do any of those things, it's fine. So nobody's going to be sad about it. Maybe they would be. I don't know. But either way, I mean, things are okay. So do whatever you want to do. Say whatever you want to say. But do realize that when you attack and defend, there will be reverberation. If you attack, there will be a defense, which is also an attack. And if you defend in some way, that means you'll probably be attacking. And so you can imagine an attack and defense will occur the same way. We're working with polarity then. Now, there's a way to dissolve polarity in the realm of our mind, and that's simply changing our perceptions. And that's why we go towards realization. Because it has to be realization, it has to be actual, it has to be actualization, to be authentic within the reality. It's not something we can just agree upon. But it is something that if it does resonate with us, we can agree with it and set out an intention and go towards finding out truly for ourselves from our heart within so that we stand sturdy. Now that is amazing, so it's absolutely, There's all kinds of ways to activate, empower, and point towards frequencies and all kinds of different things. Point towards different ways of viewing for others, sharing our view with each other. So posture. So I'm drinking my coffee again. So again, I'm standing like this. It's an alright stance. Not bad. A little creaky. A lot of tenseness in my shoulders, my neck, not so much my lower back, but it is a little kinked because I've been sitting against the bed and then my back against the wall and my neck, and I've been doing that against my backpack and against other things for a long duration, channeling energy, of course, and giving teaching, and of course doing all the things that I believe to be of the highest benefit and really following the flow really amazingly. But it moves me to points of agitation within myself when these things occur because I love my body, I love myself, I love my flow, I love the things that I do, I love doing the light language channels, I love activating frequencies, and I love liberating consciousness and blooming my lotus. So, when I have a body issue, it's a great agitation. And so I figured we might discuss